Hey everyone, welcome in, welcome in. Good evening and good day, whatever time it is for you. I am thankful that you're here. I'm looking forward to spending some time with you. What do we got? We got Straight Talker in the house. Zach, Kimmy, what's up, Kimmy? Nice to see you all. Let me see what we've got here. Hey, you. Always nice to see you, Karen. Zach says, awesome. Kimmy says, hit the like button. Thank you so much, Kimmy. Yeah, hit that like button. That's something that I am working on remembering to say, but I never do. So thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you reminding me. Straight Talker, thanks for all your support. I am relieved to be under the proper care now. It took a good 2 weeks and a few contacts at Kaiser, but I'm not, but I think I am now in the right hands. Thank you, Jesus. Karen, that makes me so happy, or Straight Talker, excuse me, that makes me so happy to hear that you're getting the proper support. You so deserve it, friend. And thank you for the update. I'm so glad you're here. I'm looking forward to sharing my thoughts on Kevin's live stream. So he, of course, just hosted a fantastic live stream. If you're catching this on the replay, I piggyback on Wednesdays from Kevin's live stream over at Kickin' Addiction. He hosts live streams every Wednesday and he does a rockin' job. It's really geared toward people in recovery from opioids. He talks a lot about Suboxone. He talks about Kratom too, the different shots, the different treatments available for people in recovery from opioid use disorder. But or not even just, more than just the disorder, just opioids in general. Kind of correct myself there and watch what I say. He also has been talking quite a bit about alcohol lately. He's hosting this 2024 No Alcohol Challenge, which I am humbly participating in and happy to report that I'm tracking well. No alcohol for me this year, and I'm committed to going the rest of the year without it. So thanks to you, Kevin, if you're watching this. I appreciate you. Again, if you're watching on the replay, you can find him over at Kickin' Addiction. And usually on Wednesdays, what I do is I wait for him to end his stream and then I piggyback is the term he came up with. I didn't come up with that myself. I like that term though. And so we're here. This is the after party as it's been coined. And I'm going to do my best to keep the good energy going. And let me see what the comments say. And then I'm going to share what I really got out of Kevin's meeting today. I'm just really excited to share my thoughts with you. Rachel in the house. Hey, Rachel. Love you long time. Artem. Hey, Artem. Nice to see you. I'm so glad you're here, man. Yeah, Rachel's been super busy lately. Been years, Kimmy. Straight Talker. Thank you, sweetheart. You are so very welcome. Straight Talker, it is an absolute pleasure. I'm so happy that you are feeling comfortable sharing your journey with us. I see you giving Kevin updates, and it's always nice to see you over there. It's nice to see you here too. And just know that we are so rooting for you. And I think personally that you're doing a great job. Oh, look at us. We're comment twins. So Straight Talker, you're really doing a great job, Tara. Straight Talker, I think you're doing a great job too. I feel like, Rachel, in response to your comment, I feel like now I have to say, love you long, long, long time. Kevin in the house. Great to see you. Yes, Kevin, great to see you. Kevin, I was just talking you up, talking about how you hosted another great live stream. You're a tough act to follow, friend. You're a tough act to follow. We have different styles, but always positive vibes. I appreciated how you said that about my channel. It made me, I don't even know, like, I don't even have words. It's an honor to hear that you think that the vibe is positive over here. It's really important to me to be able to provide that. I do my best. I don't always, I'm not Tara smiling well, I'm always Tara smiling, but I'm not literally smiling every day. Y'all know if you've been following me for a while, I do struggle from time to time. And I have found comfort and reprieve in being honest about it. I used to hide it, and sometimes I can't help hiding. Like every once in a while, maybe I'm not doing great, but maybe I'll say I'm doing good. But if I'm really, really struggling these days, I say what's going on. It's just part of my psychology to brush things under the rug sometime if it's not a big deal. But if it's a big deal, there's no hiding it for me. You'll know about it. So I appreciate that, Kevin, very much that you think it's a generally positive atmosphere here. I'm going to do my best to keep that trend up, friend. Rev Rasheen in the house, or Rashim with an M. Rev. I'm just going to call you Rev because for some reason my words aren't coming out right today. So Rev in the house says, what is your favorite type of movie? Rev, you have great questions. I really appreciate the questions that you ask. What is my favorite type of movie? Okay, self-admittedly, movies are a little difficult for me personally. I'd be interested what other people think about this. Like, what are y'all's favorite types of movies? Because my attention span isn't very long, and movies, I get lost in movies really fast. And I used to think that it was because I always went under the influence of some substance, and so I always blamed that for the longest time. Like, I was in my addictions for 20 years. So I always thought that when I wouldn't be able to follow storylines or something like that, that it was because I was high, quite frankly, or drunk. But now that I've been in recovery for almost 3 years, I realize that actually it's my attention span. Like, even in recovery, I don't have the attention span for movies. So I went through a scary movie phase when I was younger, like before my substance use days, interestingly. Those were probably the easiest for me to follow, because it's like there's always something happening, and it's, you don't necessarily have to follow one continuous long storyline to understand what's going on with scary movies. So I think that's probably why I've never thought of it that way before, but uh, in general, books are actually easier for me because I can break them up into small pieces, and I don't have to um, like sit for a long period of time and watch it. In terms of storylines, I really like mystery type of things, or even love stories. A good like romantic comedy or something, as cheesy as it might sound. Comedy. I love comedy, if you can believe that. Good evening, Terry. You're such a beautiful woman of God. Well, thank you so much, Rev. It means a lot to me that you can recognize that. Thank you for sharing that with me. Marky disorder, disorder, disorder. Yeah, I don't use that word lightly. I am not a mental health professional, so using that term, unless I've been diagnosed, with my like, I could use my own diagnoses, I think, relatively accurately, but I try to watch what I say. Oh, and I got to rephrase. I don't know, it's hard to talk about this sometimes. I am actually a mental health professional these days. Peer support specialist is a mental health professional, but I am not trained to give mental health advice like a therapist or guidance of any kind. I'm trained to provide support. So to diagnose or use the term disorder is bad form for me. Rach says, thanks, Marky. Now I'm going to have to play that and headbang around my house. Okay, so am I missing something? This isn't actually a song, right? Like, is this actually a song, Marky, or are you making this up? Because I thought you were making it up, but now that Rach Now that Rach is saying this, I'm like, wait, is it a song? If you're just coming in, welcome in. It's so very nice to see you. I haven't even got to my content yet. I'm trying to get through these comments, but I have some thoughts on Kevin's live stream that I wanted to share with y'all. And then I'd be interested to hear what your takeaways from his meeting were as well. Loverton in the house. Hey, Loverton, nice to see you. Okay, Rev likes Marvel and DC comic movies, also James Bond movies. You know what? I could get down on a Marvel or comic movie. It's the action movies for me, even though it wouldn't be my first choice to go see. I've found like the last action movie, it's been a while. Y'all are probably going to laugh when I tell you the last movie I saw action movie was Deadpool, and I really enjoyed that. It was really funny to me, and I was able to pay enough attention to generally know what was going on. Kimmy's glad Kevin's not mad at her. Marky, did someone say Tren? Tren. Tren? Is that an action superhero? Lori in the house. Hey, Lori, nice to see you. Loverton says, I appreciate you being real. I don't think anyone is okay 100% of the time. Yeah, I don't think so either. I understand why people would want to portray that they're okay or collected all the time. You know, from a professional point of view, some people I think it's appropriate, to not expose oneself like that. For me though, as a peer support specialist, it makes total sense to show all the ups and downs. It is hard sometimes because when it's bad, it seems like it lasts a long time, and I don't it's like I wish I could just put out one piece of content where I'm struggling, but like a few weeks ago, some of you know, it was like my Monday and my Wednesday stream. I wasn't doing all that great, and that was hard for me to come to terms with the fact that I had to put out two live streams in a row where I was not feeling very peachy, but that's the reality of the situation. So it's really nice to hear that you appreciate it, because it is challenging to be honest sometimes about that. Not all the time, but when it lasts a long time like that, it's challenging for me. Kevin is not mad at Kimmy. I appreciate you bringing things to my attention. I'm definitely not mad at you. I want to know. I'm just going to be transparent here. I'm curious as to what the comment was. I'm not going to ask. Like, it's really none of my business. I'm not going to dig into it or anything. But I'm like, what are they talking about right now? That was an interesting conversation or dialogue. That would be, I haven't, if I can comment on that though, since you talked about it on your last live stream, I think that it would be very challenging to have. I think it would be great, first of all, to have guests on the channel. It's something I definitely want to do. I've got a couple people who've already expressed interest in coming on as a guest. I just haven't ventured out. Like, I want to have it more or less like planned out. I have a general idea of like the format, and I want to have some good questions, like all that stuff put together before I do it. I think it would be hard to manage. You can't control another person. I have a hard time controlling what I say half the time. And sometimes I don't even know. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can say that. Like, is 420 even an acceptable thing to say on the YouTube? I don't actually know. And I've reviewed the guidelines before, but there's gray areas. And so, and some things are open for interpretation. There's no, there is a manual, but it's not necessarily super clear on what's acceptable and what's not. It's just no hate speech, no harmful content, and what is harmful content, that's can be subjective. So anyways, Kevin, I appreciated that conversation about how you can't control what other people say. I do want to have guests on my channel, so I was definitely taking notes in terms of um, what to expect when inviting people into this space, because I do want it to be a safe space for everyone. Kimmy's relieved. Straight talker, me too, Tara. I've missed my endings of TV and movies. Yeah, sometimes I get to the end and I'm just like, I don't even know what I just watched for 90 minutes or 2 hours. And then it's a lot of time that I can't get back. Or it's embarrassing. Like if I don't know if anybody can relate to this. Tell me if you can relate to this. If you go to a movie with someone and then you're just like not you're halfway through and you're like, I have no idea what's going on right now. I do way better with books, like self-study, stuff that I can do on my own time, self-directed activities. I'm money with that. I'm disciplined. I'll show up, but watch a movie with me and you might just end up laughing. I think in terms of my attention span though, Rev, I'm going to go back to your question. I really like comedies, especially ones where you don't have to follow like you can generally follow the plot, but if you miss part of it, it's okay. Tren bologna sandwich. What is this tren thing? Tren bologna? What did I clearly I missed something, which is okay. It wouldn't be the first time, as we were just talking about. Rach watches murder and alien shows. I know you're into aliens, Rach. I true crime, yes, I did know that. I just the way you say it, it sounds so intense. Like I watch murder shows. Like what? I like, in terms of like, I like TV shows better than movies because they're shorter. I can digest them a little easier. And I like the true crime stuff too, if it's shorter stuff. It's all love, boo, says Kickin' Addiction. Trend twins. Can somebody explain to me what the heck Tren is? Tren baloney? Is that a thing? Is that a person? Is that a wrestler or something? Love's gonna get you down. Casey in the house. Hey, Casey, nice to see you, friend. Casey says, hey guys, hope all is well. Things are generally good for me. Casey, a little bit of a rough patch, I'll be honest about that. I've got some things going on a lot. It's just I might get to start shopping for a new place tomorrow. Like I cannot believe that. I might be moving soon and I was feeling very overwhelmed about that. It was like every little thing was getting to me and I didn't really realize that I think just, moving is one of the most stressful things a human being can go through. And so I think just knowing that I could start shopping for a place tomorrow, I think is what it's sounding like. I'll be able to start shopping tomorrow is a lot to soak in. It's a lot to soak in. That was kind of a bomb. That was kind of a bomb out of left field. I didn't plan on sharing that with y'all, but yeah, I might be moving soon. For real. Like within the next 2 months. I'm so excited and a little nervous. I'm a little nervous. So enjoy these white walls while you can, because you might not see them for very much longer. Maddie Torrance just walked in. I see Maddie. I see you. I see you. I am a Sigma. What do you mean you're a Sigma? Is that, I mean, I know that's a Greek letter. I'm pretty sure it's a Greek letter, but I could be wrong about that. And what do you mean by that? Well, I am thoroughly behind in the comments. I did not expect that to happen. Um, but it did. And so I'm just gonna pause for a second here. Pause. I'll get to the comments. I'll get to the comments. I promise. I just wanted to share with you what I took away from Kevin's live stream, and I don't want to just focus on the comments and then forget that I really, really wanted to touch on what I pulled from his stream, and I want to know what y'all pulled from it. So tell me or tell us what your favorite part about Kevin's live stream was, and I'll tell you what I got. So a theme that I saw and see often, but it really stuck out to me this live stream was that recovery is a self-defined process. Kevin said it a few times, and I'm going to say it again. We are all so different. So different. And what works for one person might not work for another person. And what works for one person 1 year might not work for the same person 10 years down the road. You know, or even the next day. They might need something completely different, whether that's to be on meds, whether to not be on meds. Everyone's so different. And so I really just wanted to highlight that I used to think that recovery was a very black and white thing. And I found myself kind of chuckling a little bit listening to Kevin talk about how everyone's so different, because I was just like, yes, this is something that I did not see in early recovery, because I got clean and sober in Alcoholics Anonymous, which there are a lot of really great things about AA. Shout out to AA. One thing, though, that I found to be frustrating is their perspective on mental health medication. Because the big book specifically says that we take medication as prescribed. That is, I think, verbatim from the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And for the first 18 months of my recovery, I was not on any mental health medication. I was on nothing. And everyone told me that I would get better. Just give it a year and you'll be better. And so I did that. I did everything they said. I waited for a year and I was not better. I was worse. My mental health had declined from where it was pre-recovery. So for me personally, and I cannot speak for everybody, this is not a blanket statement for everyone. I just want to echo what Kevin was saying, that we are all different. What works for one person doesn't work for another person. And now that I've gone through peer support specialist training, my perspective, not just because of the training and the way that we're trained, but, and, you know, to pass a test, like I don't have this perspective just because I'm a peer support specialist, but I was exposed to this perspective for the first time in peer support specialist training. I'm like, it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense that this is how I was trained to see recovery, and this is how I actually see recovery too. They're the same at this point in time, is that it is a self-defined process. And if someone says they're in recovery, they're in recovery. You know, if someone wants to engage in use of certain substances like alcohol, for example, like I'm in recovery from alcohol, so for me it wouldn't make any sense to be like, sure, I can have a glass of wine with my steak. That wouldn't make any sense for me right now. Now that being said, 10 years down the line, if I'm like, you know what? I'm recovered. I want to have a glass of wine. I know this might ruffle some feathers. I get that. This is going to be controversial. Controversial. I'm going to say it anyways. That if I get to that point where I want to redefine my recovery, that is my right. I have the freedom to redefine my recovery, just as everybody in here has the freedom to redefine theirs. So if you are not taking any kind of substances right now, and one day you say, you know what, I can't live this way anymore, I need some help. Sweet. If you're taking substances right now and you want to get off of them, and you do that, and then you realize, no, I actually need some support, and you change your mind, sweet. If you are engaging in an activity that other people don't approve of, but you don't see it as an issue, rad. Your recovery is your own. My recovery is my own. I recently had a comment on one of my videos that said something like, it was a comment of my last live, and it said, it made me chuckle. It said, it's nice that you're joyful, because the topic of my last live was let's talk joy. Someone commented, it's nice that you're joyful, but I'm not on ketamine. It's like, I was like, the way this sounds makes it sound like I'm running around slamming dope or something like that. Like I'm not on ketamine. I understand what they're saying though, and I think I'm going to make a video responding to that comment. Ketamine's not for everybody, you know. I'm so happy that I'm on ketamine. It's worked really well for me. It's not a good fit for everyone. This is not medical advice. I'm not a medical health professional in the slightest. I just, in terms of what I got from Kevin's live stream, the theme of defining recovery for ourselves and having the power to do that, you know, like empowering ourselves, empowering other people to be able to set boundaries for themselves and define what they want their life to look like is everybody's right. So, Kevin, I really appreciated how you highlighted that. That was my big takeaway from your live stream. Thank you very much. And I am sure that I am so far behind right now, but let's get to it. Kevin said, exactly, T. I'm learning more and more every single day that every single experience is unique. I always thought that every person experienced the exact same thing I did with each med, and that's wrong. 100% wrong. 100% wrong. Ketamine's not for everybody, but it's working very well for me, and I'm thankful. Zach, Kevin was my favorite part. I love that comment, Zach. Okay, seriously, what is trend? I'm sure that I will get to it eventually, but man, how do I talk so much? Yeah, okay, so Zach says, I'm the same, Tara. I could hardly sit through movies. I just feel like I have to do something. Always been like that. Yeah, Zach, I 100%. I would rather be doing something. Let's hang out. Let's play a game. Let's do something. Yeah. I know watching a movie is doing something. Again, I already explained. I'm not going to go into that again. That'll take forever. Oh, I went back too far. I'm sorry I missed your comment the first time, Zach. Trend twins. Okay. I've never heard of these trend twins before. Clearly, in case I needed to explain that. Maddie, okay, you people better watch out. I'm here, and Tara is my love and my lady. Thank you, Maddie. It's nice to see you. I appreciate how protective you are over me. It's always a pleasure. Marky, too many alphas in here, Matt Torrance. You'll have to wait. Oh my gosh. So Marky and Maddie, I think your sense of humor, I think that they could really, really play off of each other. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes. Maddie said, "Oh, I'm a Sigma. Okay, okay." So now that I'm going back and reading, I'm like, okay, you're saying you're a Sigma male? What's a Sigma male? Please tell me. Whoa, Kevin, are they talking about sucking Oscar Myers, Kimmy? Oh my gosh, Kevin, I need some water to cool off real quick. Wow, that might be the comment of the day. Hi, mom. I'm just kidding. I don't think my mom's gonna watch this, but if she does, Kevin says, I like to hear the thoughts. I'm wondering what thoughts you're talking about, Kevin. Are you talking about the movie that Kimmy, I think it's a movie that Kimmy was talking about, or trend will make you look like a superhero? I still don't know what's going on right now. That's okay though. I can accept it. Casey, I'm doing okay, Marky. Thanks. My daughter turns 8 tomorrow, so making a banner card and wrapping presents, just listening. Aw, Casey, I hope that they have a happy, or that she, not they, that she has a happy birthday tomorrow. My words are hard today for some reason, so bear with me, please. But I'm so happy that you're here. Thanks for listening. And I was going to ask some follow up questions here. Like, do you have any plans? But I don't want you to have to stop doing what you're doing. Just I mean, if you want to tell me what's going on tomorrow, feel free. But I love that you're working on a banner right now. It's very creative of you. Kimmy says, I'm kidding. I think they're talking about that. I think she's talking about the trend twins, which my mind is bouncing around creating all kinds of possibilities for what these twins talking about the Oscar could possibly be. So thank you all for that. Yeah, Marky says, Casey, that's awesome. Tell her happy birthday from the crew, yo. Yeah, Marky, kids' birthdays are special for them. I love it. I know, it's so fun. Rachel, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Is this a trend reference? Oh, is it a song? It's a song? I am really we're talking about struggling, right? We're talking about being honest about struggling. I'm struggling to understand what's happening right now, but that's okay. That's okay. Glad y'all are enjoying yourselves. That means a lot to me. Slow mo Marky, I heard you called all the Chads to the chat. I'm here. Casey says, thanks, will do. Made her smile and ask a million questions. Aw, she's obsessed with Hello Kitty. Brings me back. Aw, that's so cute. Is there a Hello Kitty on the banner? Alphas. Kimmy likes the alphas. I like them all. I mean, not all. That sounded bad. Someone asked me what my type was the other day, and I don't really know how to answer that because I have dated so many different types of men. It can get challenging, specifically if you don't know the guest. It's like they're repping your channel, so you're kind of hoping it's not weird or inappropriate, but it happens sometimes. Yeah, right. Uh, and that's part of what I would want is to structure the conversation in a way that's in line with what the goal of the channel is, and also to provide value to the people watching it. So that, I mean, and I'm just trying to find my feet right now and figure out what I'm even doing here. So, I mean, I know generally what I'm doing here, but like, you know what I mean? It's just, it is kind of like Kimmy started having guests on her channel right away. I have yet to have a guest on, but it will happen. It will happen. Rage, narcolepsy, and movies don't mix, right? Rage, I've never thought about that before, but I'll bet, yeah, you can definitely relate to movies not really being a high demand item in life for me. Straight talker, please forget my typos. Geez, I need glasses. You know, it's all good. Straight talker, I make typos often and I read typos more often these days. I'm getting better at it. So bring it on. Bring it on. Kevin. Thanks, Kevin. Kevin says if you'd like to book a one-on-one coaching call with Tara, you can do so. And then he posted a link to the clarity. That was very thoughtful of you, Kevin. Thank you for doing that. I do now take one-on-ones. If you're interested in having a private conversation with me, then I would be happy to talk with you. You can just click on the link that Kevin posted and we can go from there. Okay, Kimmy, Tara, I have no idea what they're talking about either. I'm used to it. Okay, I'm glad I'm not alone. Thank you, Kimmy, for telling me that I'm not alone. I appreciate you. Okay, Kevin, finally, my question is going to be answered. Kevin says, ha ha, ha. Tren is the world's strongest steroid. The gym bros will know what it is. Okay. That's why I don't know what it is. Clearly, uh, I don't have words right now. I'm okay. So the Trend Twins thing, I was wondering what the heck that was meaning. And then you were talking about Oscar Mayer, and my brain did not expect it to be a steroid. Way to get me going there, guys. Way to get me going. Okay, Rachel didn't know what it was either. I'm so glad I wasn't alone in that. Thank you, ladies, for speaking up. Because I felt like a little bit like a fish out of water there for a little while. I'm like, I thought I missed something. Casey likes Wayne's World, Jay and Silent Bob. I got a massive rush of dopamine after the gym today. That's awesome, Kimmy. I am so proud of you for getting to the gym. That is a really great update. I was happy for you to see that because I know for me, it makes me feel really good when I get the blood pumping, uh, meaning working out. So good job. Keep up the hard work. This is hilarious hearing her soft voice talk about Tren. You're probably talking about before I knew what the heck it was. Kimmy, I had all these plans of how to utilize it and then I wasted it. I had all these plans of how to utilize it and then I wasted it. The dopamine? I think you're talking about the dopamine. Well, I hope it was enjoyable nonetheless. Got a little kick of libido back. You go, girl. Get it. Zach, I missed the trend thing too. Must be a Marky shenanigan. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Sometimes the things that he says I've never heard of before, and then when I'm educated, like I don't know, when something comes up that I don't know what it is, my mind just automatically goes to taboo topics, shall we call them, based on what I've seen happen before. Nothing to do with the way my mind operates, folks. Just kidding. Or am I? I got the trend night sweats. Is that a thing? It probably is a thing. You know, if you get the trend night sweats, do you get meat sweats too? Because I had a friend who got the meat sweats, and it was really a serious thing to watch. He would get drenched. Is that how it goes? Mo, I just shot my T, Kev. Casey, congrats. That's awesome. It's okay to be nervous. Okay, so I think you're talking about the housing now. I cannot believe it. I have an appointment tomorrow, and it looks like I'm going to be house shopping tomorrow. Marky's scared of Tren. I didn't know you were scared of anything, Marky. Yeah, I want to know the same thing, Kevin. If is Marky for real? Marky, nah, I'm a sissy, Kev. I like my hair. Do steroids make people's hair fall out? I know nothing about steroids. I've been prescribed steroids a few times for different purposes, actually just twice, but only, like a 5-day course one time. And then the other time it was, I think, just one day or maybe 2 days. I can't remember. It was 1 or 2 days. Drew Rinker and Tala, I see in the house. Hey, gentlemen, nice to see you. Welcome in. Glad you're here. We're talking about something that I've known nothing about. I don't know how the conversation shifted to talking about steroids, but I'm trying to catch up on these comments here. And I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I'm going to do my best. Man, bear with me. I appreciate y'all bearing with me while I try to. Okay, I found my spot. Tren is scary. I've never knowingly taken it. I've seen it change people into horrible persons. That's terrifying. That's so sad, too. You know, if I was a rock star, I would tell people that my last name was Fide. So I'd be terrified. Marky says, isn't that what they shoot cattle with before they go to the market for slaughter? Trend. So they're trending. I'll be here all night, folks. I love that comment, Zach. I love it so much. I'm going to read it again. That Kevin was your favorite part of his stream. I love that. Yes, you are, Rach. You are a rare breed. I wasn't there for the whole thing. I know, Rach, but we love seeing you when you are around. Kevin, exactly, T. Oh, wait, I read that already about the unique experiences. Yes, yes, Mo. It's like your own journey, yo. Hashtag free will. That's right. Ride the recovery wave, yo, says Marky Rizzo. So I I love the wave. Mo, I identify as a recovered tweaker. I love that identification. That's a new one. I've never heard that before, but I dig it. I drink like once every 5 years, but I really enjoy it. Right on, Zach. That's cool. Maybe one day I'll be like that too. For me right now, it's not worth the risk, but have one for me the next time you go at it, please. Marky, us old school pill poppers are a different breed. What do you call yourselves, Marky? Probably old school pill poppers. But it can be easy to fool ourselves that a substance is beneficial for us. Oh, I read this one already. It took me years to realize opioids. Did I read this already? Kimmy's Playhouse. But it can be easy to fool ourselves that a substance is beneficial for us. Took me years to realize opioids were an issue. I agree with this comment, Kimmy. I think though it's to each their own, like I need to study it again before I take my test because I still need to take my test, but there's the stages of change and people need different things. People need different supports throughout their different stages of change. So, like, if they're in pre contemplation, they need a different type of support than they need if they're in extermination, for example. And what you're talking about is like denial, um, which is that's a whole separate process from the stages of change. The denial is like you're not even in the stages of change yet. I always struggled getting advice from others regarding cravings when they were on subs because they don't really have cravings. Right, Kimmy, I can relate to this. It's challenge even even when I see people giving advice, especially if they're not medical health care providers, it's like take it with a grain of salt, And I think that's something that's not stressed enough is like it was really easy for me to say that I didn't need marijuana. I'm just speaking from my experience personally. This is not any kind of statement about people who engage with marijuana usage whatsoever, because, like I was saying earlier, your recovery is your own. And I support you, whatever that means for you. For me personally, I I always would like hit it and then I'd be like, I don't need to smoke weed. I'm fine, and then an hour later I'm like, I want to it's easy to say that I don't need it when I'm under the influence, but more difficult to stop and stay stopped, just in my opinion. That's what I experienced personally, but everyone's different. I know not everybody has addiction to marijuana. Some people even think that marijuana addiction doesn't even exist, and to each their own. Mo, definitions of words matter. We have free will, though, to choose our own adventure, but words matter. I think emotions matter quite a bit too. Words and emotions matter. I just don't like the way alcohol tears up my system. Feels like it takes a while to balance out after drinking just one time. So I very rarely do it. It does. And Zach, you're so health conscious that it makes total sense as to why you wouldn't want to do that. That's actually why I stopped drinking too. It was during the great coof of 2020, and I wanted to keep my immune system as strong as possible and was challenged by somebody who identified my condition. They questioned me. They were like, "Have you ever turned down a drink in your life?" And I was like, "Bro, why would I do that?" No. It got me thinking though. Marky, yeah, it's brutal. Praveen in the house. Hey, Praveen. Just popping in to say hello. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well too, Praveen. It's always nice to see you pop in. Mo, recovery is a progression. If you're not ascending, you're descending. We need to stop making excuses for our addictions and get real with ourselves, in my humble opinion. Uh, sure, Mo, I could see your perspective and you're absolutely welcome to it. Just not everybody can see, everybody's like, there's the stages of change. It's a fantastic model. It makes a whole lot of sense. And not everybody's at that same stage. Not everybody is in the stage of change. They might be in denial. Like, I was in denial that I had issues for 20 years. Well, probably more like 18 or 19 years I was in denial. That last year I was in what's called pre-contemplation, where I was still engaging in the use, but I wasn't ready to stop. And nobody could have swayed me one way or the other. In fact, it would have made me really angry when people would ask me about it or try to talk to me about it. Or I just didn't really care enough and I'd roll my eyes and hit it. Praveen, how has your year been so far? Mine has been a roller coaster, but overall positive. I can relate to having a roller coaster of a year. Praveen, I appreciate your question, and it has been generally a good year. 2024 has been going well for me. I've had a few bumps in the road where I've needed some professional support uh, in various forms. I'm blessed. My support system is substantial at this point in time. I've been working on it for a few years now. And I'm happy to report that when I start feeling like I'm drowning, I have a good toolkit at my disposal. So 2024 is going pretty well. I have no complaints. And as a matter of fact, it looks like I might be moving into a new place very, very soon, sooner than I might think. I do have to give 30 days notice to my current property manager. So it'll be at least a month out, but it could be really, really soon. And I'm incredibly excited about it, but also I got a little overwhelmed. Like, I started tearing up and had to like wipe my eyes when I was talking to someone earlier today because I was just feeling so overwhelmed with the idea of moving and finding the place and getting everything in order. But I'm mostly looking forward to it. Artem, I totally plan on going back to smoking cigarettes when I'm 70 and don't have to be healthy enough to work anymore. My recovery has planned obsolescence. Right on, Artem, and I think it's pretty cool that you're planning that obsolescence, if that's a word. I think it makes a lot of sense for you based on what you've shared in the past about wanting to get your health in order, wanting to recover physically from the damage that's been incurred. And so if you recover, I say in air quotes recover because that's also a subjective thing. Some people think that in the stages of change, some people think that they never get to the extinction process and that they're always in recovery. And then some people think that they get to the recovered phase and they can engage with the substance again. And that is subjective. There is no right or wrong answer to that. That is something that only an individual can determine for themselves. So, Artem, I commend you for being brave enough to say that this is what you're planning on doing. You're stopped right now, but one day you plan on starting again, and you have my support. Kevin, I was talking about your thoughts on the live stream, but you spoke on it. Right on, Kevin. I have been enjoying thinking about pulling what I took from the meeting out and then sharing it on the Wednesday live stream. So I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed hearing about that. I think I'm going to continue doing that. Not to make, I hope that doesn't make you nervous or anything. Drew Rinker says, hey, everyone. Drew, it's always nice to see you pop in here. Zach, planned in's like a cell phone. Right. For some people, that works. And that is so interesting. Just like Kevin was saying, it's so interesting how different we all are. Some people would say, no, I'm never smoking again. And then you have someone like Artem who's like, oh, one day I will. I definitely will one day. Right on. And then you got someone like me who's like, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm not sure. But for today, I've decided that I am, this is what I'm doing now is what I'm doing for today. Mo, give that like button some love, yo. Thank you so much, Slow-Mo. I appreciate that. If you have not hit the like button yet, please give it some love. It's free, and it makes me smile. Marky, I love the like button softly. Yo, I thank you, Marky, for that update. Kimmy gave a lollipop. Drew Rinker says, will do. Thank y'all. Zach, is that a cupcake, Slow-Mo? Oh no, it's hands with two eyeballs in it. That is an emoji that I have never seen before, but I'm happy that I've seen it now. How did you find that? Zach, I came up as unsubscribed, so make sure you are subbed, but not subs for, probably not sub strips or something like, not subs for recovery subs. Interesting, Zach. I came up as unsubscribed. So make sure you're subbed. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate you recognizing that and then saying something about it. Drew, my type is crazy because I'm crazy. We're all a little wild sometimes. Drew, I know I am. Marky, unsub the subs. Yo. Zach, yes. Marky, gotta be crazy AF. Casey, I will catch up soon. Thanks. I'm okay. It's been crazy. Everybody's feeling a little wild right now. Nothing to do with that full moon. That was a couple of days ago, I bet. But I'm doing better. Lots to do. Hope y'all take care. I'll bet you have so much to do, Casey. I appreciate your update. I hope that you get everything done. And again, I appreciate you stopping in and saying what's up. Mo, unsubscribe from the Suboxone. Drew Rinker, right on. Marky? Kimmy, alpha male equals a guy who isn't afraid to slip and slide. Kimmy, this is the second time I've seen you talk about the slip and slide. There seems to be some sort of attraction to the slip and slide. And I'm wondering if it is a literal slip and slide, like those are fun, or is this a figurative slip and slide? Please do tell. Marky, I have a 900 number for $4.99 a minute. Remember those? Well, I have a clarity set for $1 a minute. So if y'all would like to jump on that train, I'll be here for you. Taking it way back. Kimmy, 900 numbers were dumb. We just used the party lines. Oh my goodness, things are going there. And they were free. Tala's in the house. Tala, that was so much fun last night. So last night on Kingdom Within's Discord, Tala and I jammed out, and it was so much fun. I got to DJ for the first time. Tala trained me. I'm officially a trained, certified DJ. So one of these days coming up, I would like to do it again. I would like to do that again. Sup, Crate Slayer? Yeah, Tala's been clean from Crate, or I don't know if that's the correct term to use, but Tala has abstained from using Kratom for 3 whole days now. That is what's up. Definitely headed to the gym tomorrow morning and gonna run for a full hour on the treadmill. Helps relieve stress running. Praveen, that sounds like a great plan. I would be interested to hear how that goes. What's today, Wednesday? I'm going to be going to a strength training class tomorrow. It's been kicking my tail in the best possible way. That's a good question. Kevin asked, Tala, how's the withdrawal from the Kratom been, if any? Kimmy, wait, meat sweats? Yeah, it's a real thing. My friend visibly perspirates after eating too much meat. I mean, not after every time he eats meat, but if he eats too much of it, he visibly sweats. As in an Oscar Mayer, oh my goodness. I need a drink of water. Meat sweats from the mire. Wow, it's been an hour already. Kevin, this happened to you earlier too, where you were like, the time is flying today. Tala, Kev, very minimal. So Tala's talking about the withdrawal from Kratom, y'all. Very minimal and subtle. Nothing too bad, though. God is good and all the glory to the Father. Right on, Tala. That's fantastic. You've been trying to get off of that for a long time. Tala, how long has it been since you have wanted to? Okay, a couple things, actually. Let me back up a little bit. How long were you taking it? And how long was your taper for? Nutella biscuits. Ooh. Oh my goodness, things are heating up in the chat. Kimmy says, get some Nutella biscuits. Thank her later. I'll tell you exactly how you can thank me. That is suggestive. Jesus Christ is King, Tala. So I want to celebrate that comment right now. And also, if you're just joining, I want to invite you in. No matter what your religious beliefs are or your cultural background is, you are welcome here. We have a nice community here that has their own beliefs, and we think that's wonderful. We welcome that. And I have my own beliefs, and I'm so happy that you allow me to. You are also allowed to have your own beliefs here. So thank you for joining, and just know that you are welcome. Kimmy, I identify as the same person. Some days are better than others for me, Kimmy, personally. True. My name is D Rinker, Drinker. Tala, by the way, job DJ, DJT. DJT did a great job last night in your training session. I like that DJT. That's clever and cute. I like that. I hope we do that again sometime soon. That was really fun. D Rinker is not a drinker anymore. I wonder what so Kimmy retracted a message. I am wondering what she said. My brain is filling in some gaps right now. Praveen, I have never drank alcohol in my life, but tried it in college and hated the taste of it. Well, Praveen, you are in luck because you have saved yourself from all kinds of things that could go wrong when we consume alcohol. I'm having all these flashbacks right now. Oh. Artem. Ooh, I like this comment. I feel the imposter syndrome calling it recovery in my case. I haven't quit everything. Artem, that's where you're at. You know, you don't even have to call it recovery if you don't want to. You don't have to use that word. What do you want to call it? How about your journey? You know, because it's cigarettes. You're still using the ganj and considering giving it up, and that's okay. You know, that's the pre-contemplation phase. You don't have to push yourself into anything that you don't want to do. You're not going to maintain it if you do that. So you don't have to even call it recovery. Call it your journey. Call it your spirit journey. Call it your vision quest. Call it a tomato. Call it whatever you want. I'm going to start calling my recovery my tomato. Marky, the never-ending pursuit of happiness. That brings me back to the joys in the journey. That I've been thinking about that a lot lately. The joys in the journey. The pursuit of happiness. It is a basic human right. Ooh, Marky wants some clarity from Artem. I do think it's super cool to be entirely sober from everything for decades. I like to think of it as a Zen thing, being maximally true to your nature. This raises a philosophical question, which it's different for everyone. This does not have an answer. It's subjective, but I'm wondering what everybody's perspective is on I don't even know if I want to open this can of worms, actually. It is such a hot topic. It's so controversial. But if y'all care to comment about what you think sobriety is. Ooh, did I spark some controversy? Controversy? What is sober? To you. I'm going to add that caveat. What does sobriety mean to you? Kimmy, well, not really literally, but I'm trying to get my mind on more civilized topics. Kevin, I have a serious question. Do you guys know how many people that do not take any drugs, like no caffeine or prescription or plant medicine, etc.? I really don't think I know one person who doesn't take at least something. What do you guys think? Yeah, this is kind of a play on the question that I asked about sobriety. Do I know anybody that does not take any drug? Well, I mean, that also ties into a philosophical question, which I need the answer to in order to answer your question. The question being, what is a drug? I'm going to look that up. What's a drug? Mo is talking about how important definitions are and words, and I agree. So, what is the definition of a drug? Because I might know one person, but it depends on what the definition is. Okay, so a drug is technically, this is from the American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language, the 5th edition. Number one, a substance used in the diagnosis, treatment, or prevention of a disease, or as a component of a medication. Number two, such a substance as recognized or defined by the U.S. Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. Number three, a chemical substance such as a narcotic or hallucinogen that affects the central nervous system, causing changes in behavior and often addiction. Fair? So, yeah, according to this, and I already thought caffeine was a drug, but according to this, caffeine is a drug because it's psychoactive and changes the central nervous system. So, very good question, Kevin. My mom doesn't take any drugs. She does not drink caffeine, although she does have decaf, which has a small amount of caffeine in it. Do you consider that to be drug free? But she's on this oxalate kick lately. I don't know if y'all have heard about oxalates. She's trying to taper off of oxalates. It reminds me a heck of a lot about, or it reminds me a lot of what the Suboxone tapering process is like. There's so many parallels I see with her tapering off of oxalates and hearing y'all talk about tapering off subs that it kind of blows my mind. It makes me wonder if there's oxalates in the subs. I don't know if oxalates are a drug. I don't know if it changes the central nervous system. But I mean, oxalates have been known to treat and prevent disease. That's why she's tapering, for prevention. So I would say that in this case, if we consider oxalates to be a drug, then she would not be drug free. So then, no, I do not know anybody who is drug free if we're considering oxalates to be drug free, because oxalates are in food. a lot of foods that you wouldn't even expect, like sweet potatoes and carrots. And I'm not saying to stop eating those. This is not medical advice. I'm not a medical health professional, and it's a loaded topic, the whole oxalate thing. It's about moderation, really. Loyal Tangi just walked in. Hey, Loyal, glad you're here. Okay, so Kimmy said, I know many who don't use anything other than caffeine, but not many who do not use caffeine. Right, and that leads to the deeper question of like what else, food, for example, food. Like food could be viewed as a drug according to this definition, a substance used in the diagnosis, treatment or prevention of a disease or as a component of medication. For a diabetic who can't have sugar or like has to regulate the amount of sugar that they have, food could be viewed as a drug. And that is just the first definition. The second definition, such a substance as recognized or defined by the US Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. So I guess that's saying food is separate from a drug, but food is used as a drug for some people. So do y'all view food as a drug? Like, answer me that question. Is food a drug? Is food considered? Because number one says a substance used in the diagnosis, treatment, or prevention of a disease. Or, so it could be that first part. Kevin, wow, Kimmy, that's surprising. Seriously, 80% of my peeps drink on a normal basis. I think everyone takes caffeine. Pretty wild to think about what that would feel like to be on zero of anything. Yeah, maybe the Buddhist monks, but then if you consider food, but I don't really see any overweight monks. Although Buddha was overweight. Kevin, or Artem says, Kevin, I don't know anyone personally, but I know it's common among Buddhist and Taoist folks. I like the perspective that you're at your most authentic, most natural when completely sober. Okay, so Artem is viewing sobriety as abstinence from everything. And I would imagine that would mean food in moderation, having a healthy relationship with food. So Artem's perspective is that I am not sober right now, if I'm understanding correctly, because I take mental health medication. And that's okay. I'm cool with that. I'm not going to change what I'm doing, but I'm cool with it. I mean, I will change it eventually. My plan is to, but for right now, I'm not changing anything because my life is manageable in the best way. Kick an addiction. T, do you have cravings for any alcohol or drugs? If so, what are your cravings for? All right, Kevin, thank you for your question. I was having some cravings. I've been having cravings ever since I entered recovery, which was April 2nd of 2021. So I'm approaching the 3-year milestone. Thank you very much. According to me. I know that according to everyone, I'm technically not sober right now, and that is just fine with me. According to me, I have made it with no slips to the 3-year mark of my recovery. In 2 months, I will have made it if I make it. So I have had cravings all along the way. I've had cravings for Alcohol, I've had cravings for marijuana. I have had cravings for drugs I have never tried before, if you can believe that, if that even makes sense. It doesn't make sense to me, but that's part of the psychology of, how substances affect certain people. So, a couple weeks ago, I went to my nurse practitioner in tears, essentially. I mean, I kept my composure. I didn't actually cry in front of her, but I felt like I was showing up in tears because I was having serious cravings and for things I've never done before. Like, I mean hardcore, like wondering what fentanyl would feel like, like kind of crazy. I've never even done that before. I have no desire to want to, but I wanted to all at the same time. So I was very concerned about myself and I told my nurse practitioner and we decided to try Wellbutrin for the cravings for me. Now, this is not medical advice. I'm not a medical health professional. And I'm not saying that Wellbutrin would work for everybody. But for me, I haven't had a single craving since I started it, and I'm happy to report that. I'll take that all day for now. Do I want to be on it forever? No. But it's a very scary place to be having cravings and wondering if you're going to go get high. Like wondering if you're going to go that I don't want to deal with that, and I'm not dealing with it anymore. So the answer to your question, Kevin, if I wasn't clear about it, is that yes, I have struggled with cravings, but since going on this mental health medication, I have not had any problems with it. Thank God. Kimmy, to me, actual sobriety is no mood altering substances. So I'm not sober either. Well, cheers, Kimmy. We're not sober together, according to some people, but according to me, I am sober. Like I take medications as prescribed. For you, like I would say, if you're in recovery from narcos, like if you want to call it being sober, like some people think that sobriety is with respect to alcohol and cleanliness, like being clean is with respect to drugs. So what's your tomato? How do you define tomato? like, you know, but if you want to consider yourself not sober, then more power to you. Welcome to the party. I'm glad you're here. But I think recovery and sobriety are slightly different. I agree 100%, Kimmy. I absolutely agree. And I almost wanted to add that caveat in with that question of what is sobriety to each of you. That, all right, if we're going to talk about sobriety, then let's talk about recovery too. And if y'all want to let me know what your perspective is on recovery, if that makes it easier to define sobriety by also defining recovery, then have at it. I want to know what you think. Kevin, Kimmy, do you think caffeine is mood altering? I know you asked Kimmy, but I feel like chiming in on this too. I absolutely do think it's mood altering. It's a psychoactive substance. And Kimmy says technically, Kevin, yes, very minimally. Well, yeah, compared to fentanyl, very minimally. Mo, we are in America. Of course, everyone is on something. The programming worked. Marky, even the people in the Amazon are on something, right? I don't think it's specific to the States at all. I mean, look how much coffee and sugar the English consume. Kevin, slow. Do you know anyone not on anything? I'm talking 100% clean as a whistle. Yeah, I'm curious about that too, Kevin. I'm curious about. Nobody has said yes so far. My mom, if we don't count food, but did anybody answer that question about food? Kimmy, I am not sober because I use cannabis, alcohol, and caffeine, but I do think I'm in recovery because I don't use my substances of choice to escape. Right on, Kimmy. I support that. Artem, there's different tiers of sobriety, I think. Being sober in the present moment is tier one. Oh, that's deep, Artem. Bringing it into the present. Being not addicted, but sometimes intoxicated, tier two. Never anything for years on end, over 9,000. Like tier 9,000, over 9,000, like over the moon. Hmm. Interesting, Artem. I'm digesting your comment. I've never thought of it that way before. Like there's different levels of recovery in your perspective. That's interesting. I appreciate you taking the time to type that out. Mo, my wife is 100% clean, but she's Jamaican. They view things very differently. Okay, so Mo knows someone. He's married to her. But then next level, oh, if we want to add this, wait, I want to look at Artem's comment again. I think being sober in the present moment. So this this would be kind of building onto Artem's definition of sobriety. AA, and I am not saying AA is the way, but AA talks about, and I'm sure other recovery communities talk about this too. It's just my background is coming from AA, and they talk about emotional sobriety. There's a whole section of the book that talks, well, not a whole section, but like it's mentioned in the book, emotional sobriety. And so, because the chemicals in our bodies, like that's what I want to talk about. Like Kevin and anybody else, if you can comment, like if we're talking about sobriety, if someone is abstinent from substances, which I think a lot of us, it seems, um, use the benchmark of abstinence from mood altering substances, mind altering substances, however you want to say it. And so if we're abstinent from substances, are we emotionally sober as well? And is that an important part of the definition of sobriety? Like, does emotional sobriety also count? Morrison's wife does not drink caffeine. Yeah, I agree, Kevin. I like the way that Kimmy is viewing her recovery. Good question, Kevin. I am curious about that as well, about the self guilting. Yeah, okay. So Mo did answer the question about the food. Food are drugs too. We are inundated with chemicals, 100%. I mean, even if you drink tap water, there's like stuff in the tap water too. So it's kind of hard to get away from everything. But I mean, I think Kevin's question was more hinged on the principle of the matter, like doesn't knowingly take any drugs. So Kevin, I'm interested to know what your perspective on the food is, because if someone can like if if someone indulges and has two or three pieces of pie, then are they sober because they're getting a dopamine hit, for lack of a better term? Yeah, I know that's not how it actually works, but they're getting some sort of enjoyment from the food. And do you consider that to be sober? Okay, so Kimmy's response was, "No, Kevin, I could cut out any of those substances if needed. The cannabis I refuse to feel guilt about because for me, it's medicine." So Kimmy feels no self guilt about the substances that she uses, and I think that is fantastic. Artem, Kevin, I do know a guy, now that I think about it. I worked with a guy that was an ex alcoholic and had no interest in any kind of drugs either. And no caffeine either. Mhm. Yeah, I'm sure these people exist. I'm sure there's like, I mean, not a lot, but more than none. And it's all natural medicine, says Kimmy. I'm glad that you have something that works for you, Kimmy. Tala, Buddha was a fat ass. Yeah, exactly. Buddha was a fat ass. Mo, we live in an artificial society with synthetic chemicals to numb or feel something when Jesus Christ is the answer for all of our problems. So, Mo, I'm glad that works for you. I'm glad that you have something that works for you. And I want to add on that if you're just joining, welcome in, welcome in. We are talking about sobriety. It is a very controversial topic. I wanted to know what everybody's perspectives on sobriety was. And then Kevin from Kick Addiction asked a really poignant question about um, if we knew anybody personally who abstained from drugs and alcohol, like if they were, for lack of a better term, truly clean, including caffeine. And we're hearing a lot of different perspectives from people. I want to remind y'all that this is a peer support channel. I am a certified peer support specialist, and all different types of perspectives are welcome here, no matter what religion you identify with, no matter what background or culture you come from, you are welcome here. And I'm so glad you're here. Loyal Tangi, sugar, totally. I think sugar is definitely fits the definition of a drug, because a drug is a substance used in the diagnosis, treatment, or prevention of a disease. And for some diseases, sugar intake, like diabetes, for example, is important. So important that they have a monitor for it. Kingdom, didn't Jesus drink wine? So why would he be okay? So he would be okay with Alki or no? Ooh, Kevin, you got some popping questions coming in tonight. I really want to hear Tala's perspective on this, and whoever else chimed in. I want to hear everybody's perspective on this. Artem, Buddha was not overweight. This is a popularized misconception. Interesting. I have never heard this before. Artem, you're full of valuable knowledge, friend. Kevin, so Tala said, Kevin, yes, he did, but he did not get drunk. Yeah, I can't do that. I've never been able to. I wish that I could control myself when I drink alcohol, but I cannot. Kimmy, yes, there's a medication for everything. Having side effects from this med, let's add another med to the mix. But I mean, this is not, I want to remind everybody that we are not medical health professionals here. This is not medical advice. And my best suggestion is to talk with your doc if you are experiencing something that you need support with. Like, we all have our perspectives and they're all welcome. Like, I love hearing everybody's perspective. That's something I love about peer support. But I also want to highlight the importance at times of seeing a doctor. You know, there are times where people need things like diabetics need insulin. You know, people with certain mental health conditions need medication, like bipolar disorder, for example. So while I can appreciate people talking about not wanting meds and wanting to use things that are natural, that's not realistic for everybody. That's my perspective. That's my perspective, which I'm entitled to. As is everybody entitled to their own perspective. And I want to highlight that too. It goes back to what we were talking about with respect to recovery. Like, it's your right to define what recovery means to you, just like it's your right to define the substances that you want to put into your body or not. And if we're talking about Jesus, like, Jesus would never judge somebody for anything. So that's my perspective. Again, this is not a religious channel. You're welcome here no matter what religious beliefs you have. Okay, Kevin. So I haven't read this question yet, but I'm so looking forward to hearing what your question is. So, the good Lord is okay with drinking alky in minimal amounts, if I'm understanding correct. Good question, Kevin. So Tala says alcohol is not the sin, it is becoming drunk that is a sin. I've heard this before too. Kimmy, Tara, didn't your cravings stop before the Wellbutrin kicked in? No, I was having cravings up until I started taking the Wellbutrin. That is why I started taking the Wellbutrin. The cravings stopped after I started taking Wellbutrin. Thank God. Asking, oh, I know, Kimmy. I know you're asking with all due respect. Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't have started taking the Wellbutrin if I wasn't looking for a temporary solution to that. I was really going through it and I needed some support. I was scared. Artem, I avoid mental health meds on account of wanting to be true to my nature, but I hypocritically still smoke weed and sometimes drink. Gearing up to cut out the weed though, again. Well, I respect your perspective. That I can relate to that because I wasn't on mental health meds when I was smoking marijuana or drinking either for the same exact reason, but cut those things out. And it's like I spent 18 months in my recovery without any substances, any mental health meds, nothing for 18 months. And quite literally did not want to live anymore, could not see the point in living, and was considering killing myself with hard drugs. So for me personally, mental health medication was a life changer and perhaps even a lifesaver. Do I want to take them forever? No. But like, I mean, someone with bipolar or schizophrenia is a perfect example of someone who undoubtedly benefits from mental health medication. Dr. Crispy. Dr. Crispy, welcome to the conversation. We're talking about controversial subjects here, and I appreciate you taking the time to be here with us. I'm not going to drink a glass of wine first thing in the morning. Coffee, yes. Right on, Dr. Crispy. I also drink coffee in the morning, and it is one of the most enjoyable parts of the morning. You know, just sitting there relaxing with my cup of joe. Mo, when my wife arrived to America, she thought I was nuts, all the drugs I was on. She truly helped me realize this is not okay. So, loyal Tangi, dry drunk is a term used. Yeah, yeah, loyal Tangi. Dry drunk is something that I learned about in AA. And I'm so glad that I have worked my recovery because dry drunk is not a state of being that I would ever want to be in. But I think there are a lot of people who are in that state, and I can spot them because I've educated myself and I've been through it. And I'm not judging. Like, if people want to be the dry drunks, then by all means, enjoy yourself. But I don't think that dry drunks do enjoy themselves. That's kind of the whole point. Maddie Torrance. Okay, I'm back. So you people better watch it. Maddie, I'm so glad you're back. I was really starting to wonder where the heck you were both the same time. I'm so glad you're back. Slow mo. Matt, did you bring your soy latte with you? Ooh. Soy does something weird to me. Talk about a substance that I want to steer clear of. It's soy for me. I can't even tolerate tofu, nothing. Soy milk, I can't do any of that. It makes me my hormones get all out of whack. Just personally, I'm not saying to stop consuming soy or that I don't approve of it. It just doesn't mix well with my body's chemistry. Yeah, Matt, as the ancient Greeks said, let food be your medicine. And I think food can be medicine. Uh, maybe food will be my medicine, my only medicine one day. I tried that route for 18 months and I needed more support. And some people, like I said, I think schizophrenia and bipolar are like prime examples of people who need more support than food. But I don't disagree with you. I think food can definitely be used as medicine 100%. And my mom is doing that exact thing with tapering off of oxalates from in food. Right, right. And I agree with this. Dr. Crispy, which I love I love the Dr. Crispy thing. That's so clever and endearing. So Dr. Crispy says sugar is the biggest drug around, and I 100% agree with you. I think sugar is absolutely one of the most, I don't even have words for it because I was going to say damaging, but then it's like, wait, sugar versus fentanyl. I mean, I don't know, but if we looked at the statistics, that would be an interesting piece of data to observe, the amount of deaths due to sugar induced diseases, which, I mean, that's a whole rabbit hole, right? Like, what are we calling sugar induced disease? Like, which, all of them, if you want to get, um, what's the word I'm looking for? If you want to be loose with your definition about what a sugar induced disease is, then do you want to say all of them? Some people think that. I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm not a medical health professional. This is not medical health advice, but it is an interesting topic. If we were to view potentially sugar induced disease compared to fentanyl overdose, which would be more? I bet you more people die of sugar induced, potential sugar induced disease. Good point, Dr. Crispy. Right, Kimmy. Kimmy, food can be an extremely serious addiction. Absolutely. Rachel is back. Hey, Rach, nice to see you, love. Kevin, sugar hangover is jank. I hate it. Ugh. Yeah, am thankful that I don't. Um, I just actually started incorporating small amounts of sugar back into my diet. Uh, I've been using white chocolate chips, regular white chocolate chips with sugar, but 2023, I don't think I had a single piece of fruit, even, which I know that's going to cause some controversy too. Like, there's some people who are like, "What? You're not eating fruit? Like, that can never be healthy." And I'm like, "Well, I wanted to experiment with it." So I don't know. Everything, people get so riled up about things. But I agree, sugar hangovers are no bueno. Schoolboy Kai in the house. Yo, Schoolboy Kai, welcome. Everything is a drug, Mo. Right, 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 right. Because then it's like, well, we're talking about how Mo's wife abstains from substances. Well, does she abstain from sugar? And are we counting that? And what do you think about that, Mo? And what do you think about that, Kevin? And what does everybody think about that? Indian Buddha was skinny. Says Maddie, you know what, Maddie? Artem said the same thing, that Indian Buddha was skinny. And this is news to me. I've never heard this before in my life. Schoolboy Kai, how can food being grown from the ground be a chemical? They didn't have the seeds to grow out from the ground. Well, if it's growing out from the ground, if it's organic, this is a whole other topic. We're touching on a lot of controversial topics tonight, folks, and I'm totally down with it. Um, if it's genetically modified, I could argue that there are unnatural chemicals or unnatural components of the food that is growing out of the ground. If it's an organic food, um, that's grown with conventional methods, or even a non-organic food that's grown with conventional methods, just a conventional piece of produce. But I mean, the vitamins are chemicals, right? Minerals are technically chemicals. So it just depends. If talking organic chemistry, then yes, you can break things down into their chemical composition. But if we're talking about, meds or something like that, I mean, you're not going to find ketamine in lettuce, for example. So I think Schoolboy Kai, this is loaded it's a loaded topic. And like I said, if you want to break it down to organic chemistry, then yes. But if it's like, it depends on what your definition of a chemical is, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. Whoa, you guys went off. I got behind. Straight Talker, I see you joined us. Hey, Straight Talker, nice to see you. Always nice to see you. How did that happen? That happened fast. GMO schoolboy, right? Exactly, Mo. That's exactly what I was saying. Is that if it's genetically modified, then you could consider that to be an unnatural substance. Kevin, my question for Slow and Tala: if most everyone we know is a sinner and or an addict to medications, porn, etc., will anyone make it to heaven? If so, wouldn't it be very few souls? Serious question. Good question, Kevin. I'm sure that Tala and Mo were on this. What did I miss? Says Rach. Rach, quite a bit actually. Things got pretty fiery there. Uh, Brought up some slightly controversial topics, or arguably very controversial topics, talking about what's the definition of sobriety, talking about if food is considered a drug, talking about if we know anybody who is truly sober, and then that begged the question, well, what does that even mean? And everybody had different perspectives. Interesting conversation, though, definitely. Hmm. Artem, I don't consider sugar as a drug. You have to eat, but people do get addicted to it for sure. Hmm. Interesting, Artem. But if we go back to the definition, I'm going to push back on you a little bit because it says a substance used in the diagnosis, treatment, or prevention of a disease. So, how would you argue, uh, Artem, that sugar is not a substance used to prevent disease if we have glucose monitors for diabetics? I'm curious about your response or anybody's response to that. Kimmy, schoolboy, most addicting foods are full of chemicals and artificial crap. Straight talker, Jesus created the wine. Yeah, I think God supported man in creating ketamine, just like God inspired man to write the Bible. That might be controversial. But that's my perspective. Schoolboy Kai, I mean natural foods, not the ones from the machines and bakery. Right. Maddie Torrance, Jesus drinks wine, but he was really into Jägermeister and absinthe. Maddie, that's one of my favorite comments of the evening. Slamming Jaeger bombs with Jesus. Slow mo, Kev, we must repent of our sins. Realize Jesus Christ died to save us from all of this. We can never be good enough. We must humble ourselves and ask Christ to change us. That's when the work starts. So, this is Morrison's answer to Kevin's question. And I appreciate that Kevin asked the question. And I appreciate that Slow mo gave his perspective on the answer. I think it was really brave of you to ask that question, Kevin. And very brave of you, Morrison, to share your response. Straight talker. Oh, I could control myself with alcohol. The problem is, I did that with Norcos. Hmm. You are not alone, straight talker. Tala, Kev, the Bible says the road is narrow, and unfortunately, what you say is true, and you can't obviously see where the people stand today when it comes to sin, but I'd rather talk to you instead. Interesting response. Instead of doing it in here in chat. Yeah, very interesting response, Tala. Well done. Straight talker loves Jesus. Kimmy, sorry, typos galore tonight. I welcome the typos, Kimmy. I'm getting better at reading them because I'm on my laptop. No autocorrect, right? That happens to me too. Oh, Tala's talking about going live to, like he got inspired from Kevin's question to go live. So that could be interesting. Rach, so glad that it helped with your cravings. For some weird reason, I feel like it made my cravings worse. It's amazing to me how everything makes us all feel different. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Dude, Rach, if my cravings got worse, I don't think I could have handled that. And if they come back, then I might consider stopping the medication. But the reason I got on it was to support me in getting through this period of life where I am having cravings. Eventually, after I haven't had them for a while, I'll consider coming off of it. It's not a lifelong commitment, but for now, cravings be gone. Kevin, maybe that's why I'm afraid to learn about the Bible. I feel like my life would be so far from acceptable. It feels like mission impossible to meet the standards to make it to heaven. Aw, Kevin, I really appreciate your comment. I That's a very vulnerable comment to make, and I think I think it's wonderful that you want to understand and that you ask questions. It's a really admirable trait to be bold and brave enough to ask questions. Rachel agrees. Straight Talker says God meets us where we are, really. Kimmy, Kevin, I'm reading the Bible with Morrison and Tala, and it's definitely a journey. I think it can't hurt and can only help. Tala, Kevin, I know how you feel as I and Slow Mo was once there, but as you can see, we both have shown that it is very possible to repent and give our life to the Lord and follow the ways of Jesus Christ. Kevin, I feel like I don't know one person who will make it to heaven. So many people are repeat sinners. Rach, and I say the same, but actually I still feel like I'm going to heaven because my beliefs are a little bit different, but maybe also the same. I don't know. Yeah, I agree with Straight Talker's comment too, Rach. I think God absolutely meets us where we are, no matter where we're at. Straight Talker, that's why Christ died for us. Kingdom, Kevin, you'd be surprised to know some real righteous people. I know quite a few myself. Rach, my dad is a dry drunk. Rach, I'm so sorry. I've met a lot of dry drunks too. They're no picnic to be around. Mo, we will never ever meet the standards, brother. All fall short of the glory of God, but seek Him for healing and salvation. Much love. I think it's cool you're doing that, Kimmy. I think, yep, I agree with that comment, Rach. Amen, Tala. Slomo, very proud of you. Kimmy? Kevin, I'm probably way overthinking it. I really try to be a good person, but between the drugs, premarital sex, uh, masked, I think I know what that means, etc., it feels like I'm doomed. You're not doomed, Kevin. That's my perspective. I think food can be medicine, but I think that sometimes we need more, and that's okay. Yeah, absolutely. And I think if I can share my perspective, which I know that I can, and I will, my perspective is that it doesn't necessarily even have to be natural. I used to be all about natural and food and, marijuana as my medicine, um, and even alcohol. But I stopped drinking alcohol and just viewed marijuana as my medicine, and that worked for me for a period of time. But it took me some time to accept that ketamine treatment might be something that could benefit me personally, and it's made. Um, but I think it was inspired divinely, personally, and I like could argue that the Bible was created much in the same way. I know that's probably controversial, but that's my perspective. Straight talker, does your mom make kidney stones, Tara? So this is why my mom is on this diet. Straight talker is she has passed some stones, but she also supplements with like apple cider vinegar and lemon juice, and it softens the stones so they aren't as excruciating as some people experience. So yes, the answer is yes. She is using natural treatments to eliminate the stones and make them easier to pass. Kimmy, Rachel, I firmly believe gut health is tied to brain health. 100%. That's proven. Kevin, bro, I'm gonna go live just in case, just because you asked this question. And now I just got the prompting to speak on this very question of yours. So as soon as Tara is done, I will fire up a live stream. Right on. So anybody that's interested in joining Tala's live stream, please feel free to do so. If someone wants to post a link to Tala's channel, that would be fantastic so that people know where to go to find him. Dr. Crispy, metabolic disease. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Rach, it is all tied together. Kevin, I appreciate y'all. Well, Kevin, I don't know if that comment is directed at me or if it's directed to Tala and Morrison for answering your question, but I appreciate your appreciation and send some right back to you. Maddie, paging Dr. Crispy, paging Dr. Chris B. Please report to obstetrics stat. Maddie, you're always so spicy and feisty. Straight talker, after people get into recovery, is it not uncommon for them to crave and eat lots of sugar? It's not uncommon at all. It's very common to gain weight once you enter into recovery, especially if you go to a lot of AA meetings. Kimmy, thanks, Morrison. I think it's going to be really good for me to learn the Word of God. I'm not going to be perfect, but it may help my mental health as well. Morrison, great questions, Kev. Love ya. Kevin, I know everything about Suboxone, but nothing about Jesus. Artem, Kevin, I'd be happy to chat with you about non-religious approaches to life. Feels too inflammatory to talk about it around religious people on here, but I have much to say on this type of stuff. Well, that's interesting, Artem. That's quite interesting. You know, I'm curious about your perspectives and I'm interested in hearing them. Straight talker, is it true that Tara has only one like? I hope not. I'm showing 19. So if you have not hit the like button, please give it some love. It helps me out tremendously just to get my message out to people. And I'm showing one away from 20. So if you haven't hit it, please do. Dr. Crispy says, peace, see ya. Dr. Crispy, I don't know if you're still in here or not, but thanks for stopping in. It was a pleasure. Matt, Indian Buddha was named Siddhartha Gautama. I'm pretty sure I did not say that correctly. Yeah, I'm showing 19 likes too straight, Kevin. Kimmy loves Kevin. I think we all love Kevin around here. You're a very loved guy, Kevin. Maddie, Tara, be careful with all that ketamine. It's cat tranquilizer. I'm worried that you might start trying to lick a lot of saucers of milk. Thanks, Maddie. I appreciate your concern. No, Kev, nothing to forgive you for. You're humble enough to say you don't know and ask the right questions. Very proud of you, brother. Always here if you need anything or have more questions. Prayers. Uh, uh, Tala said, Kevin just created the thumbnail and will be ready to live stream after Tara. Well, Tala, good news. I am feeling like it's about time to wind down. I've caught up to y'all in the comments. Kimmy just posted a link for Tala. That is fantastic. So let me look at my little list here. I had some other things that I was thinking about getting to, but I am going to need to eat dinner here, and Tala is going to be going live. So Tala, I really love and appreciate you. I want you to know that I am going to be making dinner. I'm going to listen to your live stream, but I'm kind of going to be ghost listening because I got to feed myself. So if you are interested, I think it's pretty clear. If you're just joining, welcome. If you're interested in joining Tala's community, he's going to host the after party. And his channel is very spiritual. It's Bible and faith-based. So if you're into that kind of thing, then you will love his channel. Check out the link that Kimmy just posted. Tala says, one thing I do know about Kevin is that you've got a good heart. Yeah, Mo says, feel free to share. Proudly ignorant. We won't be triggered. Yeah, Artem, I want you to feel safe and supported in this environment. And I know we've got several people in here who have strong opinions about their faith, and that is their right. They are entitled to have strong opinions, and they know what their truth is. And similarly, I want you to feel free to be able to express yourself. So I know that it can be kind of overwhelming when you've got a group of people who share different beliefs than you. And I want you to know that I appreciate you being open and willing to talk about your personal beliefs as well. Rach, I feel like I'm making the rounds tonight. Yeah, Rach, it's been really nice to have you in here tonight. Yeah, Morrison is buffering. I think buffering is exactly what Jesus would do. Artem, I like to think that even if heaven is real, it is more fulfilling to imagine that it's not, because that actually makes life more valuable. Well, that is a very different perspective than we've seen in the chat tonight, Artem, and I really appreciate you sharing your perspective. Thank you. Man, I thought that I wrote down some other notes, and then the conversation, like I wrote down other notes for Kevin's live streams, things that I thought about, things that I took away. I'm thinking now this could be other video or other live stream, because we've gone for over 2 hours already, and it seems like Tala is rearing up, amping up to host a live stream, and I need to eat my dinner. So it works out perfectly to hand the torch over to him. So it looks like a couple more comments came in. I am going to get to these last 2 comments. If you have anything else that you want to share about what we talked about tonight, or just anything at all, now's the time. Speak now or forever hold your peace. As we land the plane here, I'm going to read these last comments and then we will wrap it up. Maddie, dinner is fried chicken and sourdough waffles. You know what? I think you were there in that live stream where I was like, I'm making sourdough chicken fingers with gravy, with sourdough gravy. I think it would just be the bomb. So fire. I haven't done it yet. I need to figure that out. I'm going to write that down again, because I wrote it down and then I actually forgot about it. I made some more cookies today. They're oatmeal chocolate chip sourdough cookies. I made them with oats, almond flour, and wheat flour, and sourdough. And I'm looking forward to baking them up. I actually made the dough earlier today, and now it's been in the refrigerator to get firm so that I can shape them. And I'm going to throw them in the oven after this while I'm listening to Tala and making my dinner. Artem, if your time on earth is all you'll ever have, that's even more reason to be trying to be healthy and to be kind to each other. Yes, I like that perspective, Artem. I think kindness is a fruit of the spirit. And well, I don't think, I know that it is. And you know what? I think Tala, so I'm so interested. This conversation of reincarnation came up, and I did not expect Tala to say, oh, actually, reincarnation might be biblical. I saw something come through my feed the other day that says Tala and Morrison, Slomo, are going to be hosting a joint podcast together, like a video cast, I think, about reincarnation. uh, I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say about that from a biblical perspective. I'm really looking forward to that. Kami, another way to look at it, Artem, is trying to be healthy and kind will help us get to eternal life. And Mo really liked that. Hmm. Interesting conversation. Interesting conversation. Mo says we will be streaming hopefully this weekend about reincarnation. Cool. That sounds awesome. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys put together. So, I mean, I've got so much more I could talk to you, but the good news is that I have a channel and I have other opportunities in the future to talk more about the things that I did not get to this evening. So, Artem, I don't want to be motivated by eternal life, even if it's all true. Interesting, Artem. Interesting. Very different perspectives, and I actually really enjoy hearing different perspectives. I find it to be fascinating. I like the kindness component that you highlighted, Artem. I think it was you, Artem. Yes, to be kind, trying to be healthy and to be kind to each other. 100% agreed with that. Mo, we shouldn't be motivated by eternal life. We should be motivated by the love of Jesus Christ. That helps us heal and love other people. Which brings me to a deep philosophical question that is extremely controversial. What is love? And now I've got Night at the Roxbury bumping in my head, thinking about Will Ferrell doing that thing with his head. All right, y'all. It has been a pleasure. Oh, Ben. Ben just came in at the very, very end. Ben, nice to see you. I don't know if you've been here for a while um, or if you're just popping in. But either way, I'm happy that you made it to the end. The restream will be there for you if you would like. And hopefully I'll see y'all soon. I always sign off saying, now my mind is blank because I need to eat, but it's what do I like to say? I like to say it has been a pleasure speaking with you as always. I love you all very, very much. Tonight's conversation was great. Truly, I really enjoyed it. Thank you all for sharing your perspectives. And our time next stream, what is love? Perhaps that could be spicy. So I love you all very much, and I hope to talk to you soon.